Michael Jordan captivated NBA fans and the world alike in his illustrious and legendary career. The man played 15 seasons in the league, winning an astonishing 6 championships, 6 finals MVPs, 5 league MVPs, and plenty more. He left his legacy on the game of basketball, and this was brought back into the public eye when the documentary series The Last Dance premiered 3 weeks ago. The series centers around both Michael Jordan's career as well as the champion Bulls team from the 97-98 season, and in the most recent episode detailed the story of Michael Jordan's competitive nature and tendency to gamble on just about anything. Fast forward a few years after Jordan's second retirement, and this is where things get interesting, and where a young Jamal Crawford, who had just finished his rookie season in the league, comes into play. What's going on, guys? It's Danko from Hoops Insight, and in today's video, we'll be talking about the time where Jamal Crawford received death threats as a direct result of gambling with Michael Jordan. At Hoops Insight, we post a wide range of videos, and if you haven't already done so, make sure to check out the videos on the top 5 single game performances in NBA history and 10 interesting facts about Tim Duncan. If you like today's video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe so that you never miss any content. With that being said, let's get things rolling. NBA fans alike will know Jamal Crawford for his flashy ball handling and trickery with the rock, and for being one of the most lethal bench scorers in NBA history, which saw him become a 3-time Sixth Man of the Year, score nearly 20,000 points in his career, and become only the second player in NBA history to have scored 10,000 plus career points off the bench. But today, we're going to rewind it back to the middle of 2001, to where his career was just getting started. Just 1 year prior, Crawford was selected by the Cleveland Cavaliers in the 2000 NBA draft with the 8th overall pick. However, he would immediately be traded to the Chicago Bulls as part of a draft day deal that included the rights to Chris Mim. During his first campaign with the Bulls, he struggled with his shot, shooting only 35.2% from the field, and in 61 games with only 8 of them starting, he would go on to average 4.6 points, 1.5 rebounds, and 2.3 assists per contest. It would be at the conclusion of Crawford's rookie season in the summer of 2001 where he and his childhood idol Michael Jordan would cross paths, an encounter which would result in Crawford's life coming under threat. Jordan asked Crawford to be part of a regular pickup game and workout crew during the summer of 2001, at a time in which he was deciding whether or not to come back and play in the NBA one final time. Crawford, just 20 years old, jumped at the chance to be able to take the court and learn the competitive fire of the game's alpha male. In 2 years as Jordan's teammate at Hoops the Gym, an athletic center in Chicago, he never lost a pickup game. Better yet, he was hanging with Jordan after hours, fraternizing with the legend. Some nights he felt like he had a VIP pass inside the velvet ropes of a Monte Carlo casino, and that's where old vices came back to bite him. In between Crawford's first and second year in the league, after the pickup games at Hoops the Gym, many of Jordan's friends and associates would go next door to his contemporary American restaurant, 160 Blue. After hours, games of chance were set up, Vegas-style card tables, and a separate corner for shooting dice. 2 participants, on condition of anonymity, recounted one particular night when Jordan and Antoine Walker were among the card players, and where Jamal Crawford and Ray Allen were among the players shooting dice. The game was craps, in which the shooter opens by rolling 2 dice. Any combination other than 7 becomes the target to roll again. A 7 is considered crapping out, meaning the roll starts over and the money wagered gets collected. Crawford grew up on the game in the streets of Seattle. He'd won hundreds, maybe thousands when he was a teenager. He brought about $2,000 in cash that night and remembers being one of the first shooters. There were maybe half a dozen players, most of whom were professional gamblers. Crawford was up and down for a while, once holding about $10,000 in cash, more than he had ever won before. Then he went down, way down, into a hole there was no coming back from. He began making bets with money he didn't have on hand, with a group of professional gamblers used to getting paid on the spot. They'd be like, "Okay, you bet $2,000 on this one." "Okay, lost," Crawford recalled, agreeing to discuss his own role that night, but refusing to confirm the identity of anyone else involved. Then they'd say, "Now we'll bet 3 on this roll." "Oops, lost. Now you're down $15,000. So it wasn't like cash was coming out, it was like air money. but it was money I was going to have to pay back somehow eventually. As the evening went on, Allen came into the game. He represented fresh cash and became the shooter. Crawford would bet on his role and would lose again. Both their losses began to pile up, and Allen had to borrow tens of thousands from Jordan, according to one of the participants. But Allen had made about $70 million in his career up to that point. Crawford was still on year one of his rookie deal, which guaranteed him $8 million over 3 seasons. As a colossal pit formed in his stomach, he remembered thinking, "What the hell did I just do?" Over what is believed to be a 2-day span, Crawford said he lost in the neighborhood of $100,000. A person with intimate knowledge of the game claims Crawford lost several $100,000 and Allen lost even more, and that days after the dice game, a call was placed to Crawford's agent Aaron Goodwin to inform him that Crawford had not yet squared his debt with one professional gambler. According to the person with intimate knowledge of the game, Goodwin asked the man who placed the call, "What does he owe? Jamal is good for it." "No, you don't understand," the man said. "If he doesn't pay now, these guys will kill Jamal." "Kill Jamal? He's an NBA player. He gets paid as soon as the season starts. Give me the dude's number," Goodwin responded. The person with knowledge of the game said Goodwin called the man Crawford owed money, set up a payment plan, and resolved the issue without incident. Crawford swore he didn't lose that kind of money and said he never heard the story about his life being threatened. But he doesn't deny he got in way over his head, which led to a particularly humiliating moment. To help square the debt at the end of the second night, he walked out to his 2001 Mercedes-Benz S-Class 430, an immaculate new sedan. Before he handed over the keys, he opened up the trunk of the car and took out his basketball. As Crawford was reflecting on that moment, he mentions it was just this feeling of, man, you think you made it and then you go back to your old ways and do something that completely undermines yourself. Honestly, everybody just wanted to be around Michael most of the time, and he was doing his thing. I don't hold anybody responsible but me. 15 years later, Crawford said he has yet to shoot dice or even gamble outside of a legitimate casino again. The meltdown in Chicago served as one of his best teaching moments. He said, quote, "Imagine if I was older and had a lot more money, the trouble I could have got myself in. I'm glad it happened then, it's just a blip now, another learning experience." Crawford went on to mention he doesn't even know who that kid is anymore. A cocky 20-year-old who got into loud arguments with friends and family over his cell phone within earshot of veterans on the team bus. "If some kid did what I did now, I'd be like, shut the hell up, we're about to play." Crawford, who played with Eddie Curry twice in his career at Chicago and later in New York, remembers Curry coming up to him when he got to New York and saying, "Man, who are you? You've matured so much from your days in Chicago." Crawford went on to mention that he didn't know better about how to act and who to associate with during his early years in the league, and it's amazing to see the growth that he had shown. Crawford added, "When you ask how I survived, I think that's it right there. I didn't make the same mistake twice. Do I regret losing that money? I mean, you never want to do that. But then the silver lining is, say I never did it, right? I'd be tempted now and I'd probably lose a lot more. For me, my entire existence in the NBA has been about becoming a better decision maker. I didn't have the hardest life, and most of the time anything went wrong, I'd crafted it, so I had nobody to blame but me. But I don't think I would have appreciated it as much if everything had gone smoothly. I don't think I would have learned any lessons. You know, how can you appreciate the sun if it doesn't rain sometimes?" It's safe to say that Crawford went on to make far better decisions as his career went on, and he would end up making just under $124 million in career earnings, and this incident here taught him a lot of lessons about staying out of trouble and about the kind of people that he should and shouldn't get involved with. It's definitely one of the more interesting stories, and one that a lot of NBA fans alike may not know about, as it happened nearly 20 years ago and was not highly publicized until recent years. The story ultimately had a positive outcome, but it poses the question, how much do we really know about what's happening behind the scenes in the lives of these NBA players? And it puts no doubts in my mind that gambling and rash decisions like this are more than likely still ever present today within the NBA fraternity. So that brings us to the conclusion of today's video. If you like this type of content, make sure to give the video a thumbs up, leave a comment, feel free to suggest any ideas for future videos, And most importantly, subscribe to the channel to be in the running for the giveaway once we hit 100 subscribers. Thank you to everyone who tuned in. I appreciate each and every one of you. And with that being said, this has been your boy Danko from Hoops Insight signing off.